Hi, if you're interested in starting your own content creation on YouTube, and you may think that you need one of those latest and the greatest camera and lens that you may have seen on other YouTube channels in recent months. Well, let me tell you that you don't need any of those, and all you need is your smartphone and a couple of accessories that I want to show you today. Hi, it's Cheng here from RED35. Yes, today's video is a little bit different because I'm going to talk about tools that I use to film, but also trying to advise you if you are starting on your own today, maybe in the near future, what you would need. First of all, I'll tell you a little bit about my experience. When I first started this channel back in the day, technologies were a little bit more limited compared to what we have today. And so I needed slightly better cameras, that's for sure. But today's video is basically about that. You do not need a specific cameras these days. Yes, there are a lot of cameras being advertised for vloggers and video makers, for instance. They are great cameras, so don't get me wrong. But if you have a smartphone yourself, which in the last year or so, maybe I'm an iPhone user, so I'm going to use iPhone as an example. So let's say if you have an iPhone 12 onward, the image quality isn't that bad at all. It's more than sufficient to do what you need for content creation. And, if you already have one of those phones, it's simple, right? It's really, really simple. You just point and shoot. And this is exactly what I'm trying to show you today, plus a few other accessories that I think it would boost your production value without breaking your bank. And all together, add together, was still less than buying a lens. Like most of my videos before, I always advise my fellow content creators and filmmakers to sort one thing out, and that is audio. Without good audio, you can forget about your production, basically. You can have really bad video, but good audio, people can still listen to it, right? So this is ultra, ultra important. And today I'm going to show you one specific mic that I found it very, very useful and very high value, not for much price. So you can actually add it to your arsenal to create valuable contents like what we're doing today. Many of you know Rode Wireless Go or perhaps DJI's wireless system. They are probably the gold standard for any content creators and vloggers alike that you probably have seen many, many times on YouTube. Well, you may have not seen this that I'm using right now. This is the Godox Mini that I'm connecting to my camera. So this is not the usual mic that you've seen on the market right now. And this actually is compatible with both the camera and your smartphone. It is not using Bluetooth like the Sabina tech that I reviewed before. That I just don't think the audio quality is good enough and it's not flexible enough to what I'm doing right now. This guy is the plug-and-play solution. It does come with very different adapters that you can mount it onto the mic itself, both TTRS, TRS, and also Lightning, or USB-C if you choose to use Android OS. The version that I got here is the iOS version, so I can connect to my iPhone, all without using an adapter or cable, so you don't have anything dangling around. All you need just to slot in the little tip, and you can plug and play to your camera or iPhone respectively. So this is basically what you're hearing right now. So I am using the Mini to connect to my camera at the moment, and later on I will demonstrate using my smartphone so you can see the quality, because they are the same, which is fantastic. Sometimes when you mix and match system, this is something I hate. You have to try to, like basic color grading. You have to color grade and try to color match different lenses, different systems together, make it flow better. Audio is the same thing. If you use different system, you may have to calibrate a little bit to get similar quality. And this is something I always hate doing in post-production. While this guy here is compatible with both the smartphone and also my camera, that means I can mix and match footage with the same sound quality and signature. And this is fantastic to me. Fantastic. If you don't know, you will when you start into content creation. But also, when you do get this system, it comes with this guy here. This is a charging case that houses all the units inside and charge at the same time. fantastic. I like this sort of packaging because, you know, the Rode Wireless Go, it just comes with a pouch and you have to charge the units individually at home or via a power bank. And it's just not tidy at all. And this guy is all within the little box here. You can just shove it in your bag while moving from point A to point B. Everything will be charged inside. And fantastic. And I did say units, yes, because if you buy it as a kit, you can get 2 mics, 2 transmitters basically, and 1 receiver. So the one that connecting to the camera is the receiver, and you have 2 of these mics that are mounted on my chest. I don't know if you can see this right here. And yeah, it's really, really good. And I don't want to go into too much detail with this system because you know, many of you may not understand frequency responses and things like that, but this is actually, I would say, almost as good as the Wireless Go system and the DJI. When I say almost, I can still hear a little bit of the differences there. Perhaps the Rode has a slightly, ever so slightly higher audio quality and fidelity, but I would say that once they tune a little bit in the equalizers in the perspective software, you will not hear the difference at all. This is actually pretty good. And the good thing is, it is also a lot cheaper than any of the systems that I just mentioned. So fantastic value for money, and it's very, very flexible. There's one feature that may stand out, maybe that you think is worthwhile, which I think probably not at the moment, is there is a noise cancellation or noise reduction algorithm that is set into this mic. You have to enable it by pressing it on the transmitter itself. But I found that the differences between on and off isn't significant enough to use it. So I actually currently have it off at the moment. And seriously, if I turn it on, I don't think you'll hear the difference. The next gadget I want to show you and to talk about is not critical, but I think if you do decide to add this into your arsenal, you will definitely increase your production value by a huge margin, especially when you're a solo creator. So what you're seeing right now is completely automated. There is no cameraman behind controlling the angle, you know, like walking left and right at the moment. It's all automated and controlled by the AI modules on top of the camera. You may think that, oh yeah, well, there are lots of gimbals that you can buy out there at the moment will have some sort of tracking. That is correct, but you have to enable their own individual apps to do that. Once you exited their app, you cannot enable any tracking because all software based. This is hardware based. This is AI modules. It's a hardware little modules that attach on top of the gimbal that allows you to move around and the thing will track yourself. This is really, really cool. But you haven't seen it before. I actually did review the previous versions, the iSteady V2, a couple of years ago. It was a foldable, more compact version of it. And this is just a slightly more professional and a bigger, more powerful version of the original. And yeah, this is fantastic. And even at time of reviewing the older version, I did say that if Hohem one day decided to make a bigger version, I would be all over it. And they have. So as I said, this particular gimbal will enhance the production value simply because by adding this sort of dynamics that you normally require a separate person to do this. And this is fantastic. I really enjoy this. And the beauty of it, like I said before, is hardware based. It's not software based. And that means that you can use any app that you fancy to create your own videos. No, you don't have to use Hohem's own app if you don't like it. You can use the native app that you have, you know, in your camera. It could be Android, iOS, or anything else that you want. In fact, this does fit the GoPro or the DJI Action as well. This little clamp, just like the previous V2 that I demonstrated before. You can actually use other little cameras that fit perfectly with this. But this is perfect. iPhones are getting better, smartphones are getting better. But the beauty, like I said before, you know, and I'm using a front-facing camera, which is usually the worst camera you can get on any smartphone. You can flip around and use the proper camera simply because, like I said, this is hardware-based AI tracking and doesn't require any apps at all. And you can flip around using the main camera on the back of the camera to get even better quality. Another beautiful thing about the iSteady M6 is that the AI modules is magnetically attached to the top of the gimbal and critically reversible. And what does that mean? It means that, well, you can use the back camera, which is usually the highest quality camera modules of any smartphones, right? You can't deny that. It is, because the front camera is just rubbish. But with the dedicated AI modules like this, all you need to do is do some gesture, enable it remotely, like what I'm doing right now, and it will start tracking yourself. It's just fantastic, hands-free. Plus the wireless system, the mic, everything, you just get higher quality, a more dynamic looking footage from a smartphone. And the iSteady M6 really gives you that opportunity to create this sort of dynamic, full stop. Not only that, it's a proper gimbal, so you can use it for normal cinematic films while you are creating B-roll, for instance, to places that you travel to, all happening just within the same tool. You don't have to change anything, and this is fantastic. And not only that, iSteady did actually, well, Hohem did think about the whole usability of the iPhone self-filming by enabling the gimbal to the actual housing, motor housing, to get away from the camera itself by quadruple clicking the trigger button to basically swing the motor housing behind the camera so it doesn't obstruct the wider angle on the smartphone. And this is brilliant. And just overall, I think this is probably has this perfect balance for any sort of content creator using the smartphone. The iSteady is definitely very stable as a gimbal, and especially this is slightly more upmarket compared to the V2 that I had before, and you can see that it's very, very good indeed. Yeah, at the moment I haven't had tracking on, but I'm just hand holding it, so you see it's not really tracking me, and I'm carrying stuff at the moment for filming, so I can't really do my gesture to allow it to continue to track me. But anyway, you can see super stable. Well, as you can see, the AI module sees me very well and continues to track me even though I am already about 6, 7, maybe 8 meters away from the camera right now. And what does that mean? It means that you can add a lot of content surroundings into your frame to show your audience. If you are at a very beautiful locations and you want to showcase everybody, and if you are happy by leaving your tripod and the camera away from you a little bit, and yeah, you can really do something like this just by walking around showing people wherever you are, just to add that little bit of focus onto your content. And that's really, really important, and I love the aspect of it. But more importantly, that this thing also allows you to recompose. Yes, recompose your shot by having a symbol like this. Now the camera module is starting to blink, and then if you just move it a little bit, you know, whichever side you want, and do the same symbol again, and now the composition is locked. And that means that the camera will continue to track you, but keeping you at the position that you want, maybe on the side of your frame or not. So you can do the same thing again by moving around, do it again, and there you go. Now it tracks me by basically showing you guys having more space on this side. I can show you like this, you know, having a more dynamic introduction to the shot. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. So I can just do the same thing again, having me central again, and do the same thing. Now back to, I think I'll show you enough. This is, I love it. I love it. So this is what I want to tell you about the whole setup. But one last thing is definitely not critical. But if you are interested in cinematography eventually, or having to produce even higher quality videos, this is something that you probably would like to learn about, is to use filters to decrease the amount of light hitting the sensor by using the correct frame rate, by having the proper motion blur. Yes, it is filter. And here is it. I have the freewheel Super system, and I have been using this stuff for a long time in through different smartphone generations, because I just love their stuff. And this is their latest Super system that works with my iPhone 13 Pro Max and 14 as well. I mean, I haven't upgraded the latest iPhone, so I'm still using the 13. So I have that case, which is magnetic. So this filter will just basically magnetically slap onto it, and that's it. This is a VND 125 stop. It does have other filters like the mist and also CPL if you want to do some CPL photography as well using the smartphone. So everything works and really easy. So there you go. Like I said, this is not critical, but it's worth remembering having a filter, because it does give you the nicer motion blur if you really want to reduce the light and use the better frame rate options within smartphone filming. And this is really important. So there you go. You've seen enough, and I hope that this will give you a good idea of what you can achieve with a smartphone, because a lot of people, especially starting out in YouTube content creations, they did think a lot about buying the correct camera, spending hundreds if not thousands and thousands, because these days the latest Sony vlogging camera costs $2,000, minimum, or $3,000, $2,500. I can't remember that, but it's enough, right? And if you really got a smartphone, and if you just want to spend the minimum amount to start up, a gimbal, this one is $200, the mic is $120, and then plus the filter. Even the filters, they won't cost you a bob. all these together, when you add them together, doesn't even cost you a lens. Yeah. So why do you want to spend so much money on something that you may not pursue as a career in the long term, right? If you're just starting, I just want to have a try, have a taste of it, to see whether it works or not, whether this is something that you would like to do for a long-term basis. Don't get me wrong, you eventually, if you really want to pursue the highest quality, you will need the proper camera, like what I've been using, the OMD systems or any other system you may consider. But if you want to start out, just have minimal budget while still look and sound good, there you go. Hohem, iSteady M6, the Godox mini iPhone mic. That's also transferable to cameras if you eventually want to move up a level, and also some filters. So there you go. This is beautiful. Anyway, this is enough for today's video, and I hope you guys learned a little bit and also appreciate what I'm trying to show you and trying to educate you if you're starting out to trying to get some video done. This is really, really fantastic time to start your YouTube content creation, because yeah, YouTube is fun, right? Anyway, I will speak to you all later. If you want to learn more about filming and photography, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and put on the bell notification so you won't miss any content from me in the future. Until next time though, I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now. Well, thank you for watching my video, and if you guys are considering the Hohem iSteady M6, let me give you a very quick overview of what this thing can do. Well, obviously it's a gimbal, so you know what it does, it stabilizes the camera, right? But on top of that, the AI module is obviously the standout and killer feature of the M6, and if you're impressed with what you've seen already and in the whole video, the tracking is just phenomenal. But itself, as a gimbal itself, is still good. Build quality is a little bit plasticky to my liking. However, it keeps the weight low and it's very solid and well put together. And it does have a lot of thread points, so you can mount other things to, whether it's going to be another mic, an external mic, or LED module. If you don't think the LED on the AI camera module is strong enough, because it does come with the light, like I mentioned earlier. To turn it on, just press and hold the control wheel center for about 3 seconds, and that would basically turn it on. And it's still usable. You probably can't see in bright daylight like this, but in the evening, in a very low light situation, this really does help by basically giving a little bit of field light. It works, it does work. And you can actually change the RGB as well, which is actually fantastic. And I really think that is a cool thing to do. It does have all the modes like pan follow, lock mode, inception mode, and everything that you would expect from a high-end gimbal. And when I say high-end, this is definitely considered to be one of the higher-end mobile gimbal. Same as like June's, the latest Luna Smooth 5. I think June's Smooth 5 is similar sort of level. When I say level, because DJI now has gone through for the more mobile and compact routes now. And because of the more compact nature of the design, just like the iSteady V2 before, it has a limited motion angles, and I don't like those. And that means you can't do a lot of low angle shooting and things like that. This one, you can see, it does allow you to do a full motion, which you can't really do with all the compact gimbals out there right now. The DJI, latest DJI Osmo, and also some of the June gimbals. Yeah, I just don't like those anymore. That's why I don't review them anymore, because they just don't give me the creativity freedom that I really want to see. But anyway, this does allow you to do that, which is fantastic, and I love it. So there you go. That's the overview of the iSteady M6. It does also, well, just one last thing, it allows you to use it as a power bank. Yeah, it does have a power out from the actual mobile arm itself, and that's a USB-C cable, so you can use the included USB-C cable to your phone. It will charge it at the same time of filming. That's good, right? We really can't ask for more if you really want to film for a long time. If you worry about battery life of your phone, this thing will continue to power it if you really want to. Battery life is actually pretty good as well. It lasts you for a day and easily. Yeah, to be honest, I can't find anything negative about these things, apart from maybe the size is slightly on the bigger size. But like I said, if you want full motion, you can't have any folding gimbals like you have these days. And they are, to me anyway, they are just not good enough for me. And for mobile filming anytime, any day, yeah, I'll take something like this out every single time. No doubt about it. Right, okay, welcome to the bonus section. And what do you think? What do you think of this iSteady M6 tracking gimbal? I think it's just beautiful. It's just fantastic of this AI modules that tracks you, do all kinds of things. Like I showed you about the recomposing, and it's really, really fun. And these things, my kids love it again because they remember the little version of it, which I also reviewed 2 years ago. Yeah, love it in general. And still, Hohem, please, can you make, I'm not joking, you make a proper gimbal with the same module that I could use on a main camera. And that would make my day. That really would make my day, because I can use a main camera for other higher production value contents. And because, you know, your system works, proven to be working. And all I need is the same thing, but just bigger. It's just bigger. And Godox, thank you very much for providing this audio unit for review, because I am digging it. You know, I love the fact that I can connect to the smartphone and also to my camera. Fantastic, really, really fantastic. And it's flexible enough for me to just have one unit that I can use for both the iPhone and camera system that I want to create any video of. Perfect, really, really amazing. So, hope you guys enjoyed my content recently, and I have a lot more coming. And yeah, I'm just so busy at the moment, both my work and also video work, which is I'm not complaining about. It's fantastic, and thank you guys for continued support. And I know the the Michael Four Thirds ground has some shake-up lately, and you know the Peter Forsgard has left OM system, and also obviously Robin has done the same thing about 2 years ago now, or maybe just over a year ago. And yeah, you know, we need more people in the Michael Four Thirds scene, and also the world. I know Peter may still be a Michael Four Thirds guy, but I know that he's exploring out of the system right now. So you never know, he may not be a Michael Four Thirds guy at all later. Same as his friend also from Finland, you know, and yeah, everybody seems to be leaving. Why? Anyway, I'm still around, even though that I may have a new camera, and which I will tell you more about it later. And but you know, I am still an OM system ambassador. I'm still using their gear to do everything. I love the system. You know, there's no point for me to quit or do anything else until one day, if the system doesn't provide what I need for my jobs. And that's the critical part, right? I make money from photography and filmmaking. If one day I cannot do things that I need to do with my current system, then I'll consider switching. But until then, perhaps it won't never happen. Until then, I will still gonna be a Michael Four Thirds, especially an OM system guy. So until next time, I'll see you all very soon. Stay creative and keep shooting. Bye for now.